Double checking that I'm recording. Okay. So welcome everyone. Today we have a very special guest, Richard Khor, who will be presenting the ADKAR model, how to master the challenges of organizational change. Thank you, Richard, for being here, and thank you everyone, and welcome.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Before I introduce our presenter, I have put together some slides to present our company. So ezTagile was founded in 2016 for a successful self-started Black female in the IT industry, Camille Sproul. Her vision was to create a company that provides tailored agile solutions and foster an agile mindset, vision that we embrace every day. We are not just like an agile firm, and I'm trying to highlight one new thing in each webinar about our company. So for this month, since we are celebrating the Hispanic Heritage Month, and that comes with a lot of cultural diversity, I would like to highlight how ezTagile gives back to the community in college. So our team collaborates with different universities like the Schema Business School, Duke, NC State. So our team go over there and provide several free classes about Intro to Agile. And our intention with these classes is to put the small seeds in the mind of the students, because we believe that they are the leaders of tomorrow. And we want to inspire them to follow the Agile path. Especially, we want to inspire women, minority groups like Black, Spanish, LGBTQ, and all marginalized groups, so they can be part of this Agile community and create a more equal space for everybody in the Agile community, because we need it. Here are our partnerships. We are part of the Agile Alliance. We are part of Atlassian Cyber Solutions, and we are a Scale Agile partner as well. So if usually with two things about ezTagile, hopefully it's easy, as our name is not really complicated. First, for us, it's simplifying Agile. And second, we do that with the right software tools, in this case, Atlassian tools, and we use tailoring, change management, and change of mindset. So if you have any questions or concerns about Agile, or you're looking for some recommendation about any Atlassian product, we will be happy to talk with you, no charge. Alex is going to put like a link in your screen if you want to save it. Also, you can send us an email to info@eztagile.com. And with that said, my last announcement is, like, if you really enjoyed this webinar, please save the day. We have another coming up on November 12th, because Agile is not just for software development, and we have a very special guest. He's going to talk about Agile at home, since the kids, some of the kids are going back to school, and we need some tricks to apply at home as well. So with that said, Richard, we are honored to have you here today. Richard Khor started his career as a developer. His passion is solving problems, creating products, and delivering values into the organization. Along the way, Richard has been an architect, market manager, and director, but he is also a YouTuber and a great storyteller. He has more than 100,000 views on his YouTube channel, and Richard helps every week individuals with practical tips in the Agile journey in YouTube. So welcome, Richard. And in his words, let me put, because I really love how he said, he falls into the world of the Agile, and that is the place where his passion lies. He found that the Agile mindset is the key to unlock happiness for individuals and the organization. So welcome, Richard. I'm going to stop sharing so you can share your screen as well.
Okay, all right. Hello, everyone. I'm gonna go share my screen. So, okay, how do I do this? Click on share. So I wanted to start with a question, and to all of you that is listening in, if you were to go to menti.com, the code is 2581280. Real simple, go to menti.com. You should get a screen just like this here. You put in the code right there, and the question is real simple: is change hard? So it's a sometimes more than a yes. Sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's no, maybe. Sometimes. I like that. That's trending pretty high. I'll give it another minute. Got 10 to 4. Wow, sometimes. Yeah, that's still trending. So nobody is saying that hard is not, nobody's saying that change is not hard. So this is a sometimes. It's kind of maybe 50-50. Maybe, no. Okay, all right. I'm gonna switch over now to the slides here. So I want to bring something up as on everybody's mind today, COVID-19, right? We're living it. We're in the midst of a pandemic here. Here is something that I found interesting, right? In Indonesia, so they're trying to basically get people to stay at home and not go out. Here's one of the things they have done to it. It's pretty much a way to get people to change how they their daily lives is. Instead of going out at night, they want people to stay at home. Have you guys seen this before? Have any of you seen this before? I wonder if I can play a little bit of this. Let's see if I can play this. I wonder, can I do this? Nope. Let's see if I can play this. Do you guys hear the audio coming through? No? Okay. All right, let me go to so let me see if I can do a share. But let me see quickly if I can do this. I'm gonna pause the share, and I'm gonna do a resume share. Okay, all right, I'm gonna share that now. And I'm gonna play. Can you guys hear the audio coming through now? No? Okay. All right. Never mind then.
Let me see. Do you want me to try to make a host? Do you think that?
No, I'm gonna stop share here and go back to the share real quick here.
Sekalinya ada itu.
You got audio coming through now, right? So this is a real quick, about 2 minutes and a half.
Dan alhamdulillah terbukti sejak diberlakukannya portal pocong ini, lingkungan desa menjadi lebih kondusif.
So this is from the viewpoint of the actor playing the ghost.
Kurang kesadaran dari warga dalam mensikapi adanya penanggulangan COVID-19 ini. Jadi warga tetap seperti biasa, maunya seperti biasa untuk dapat tinggal di rumah tetap sulit sekali.
Karena setelah adanya pocong, itu anak-anak kecil sama orang tua itu sudah tidak keluar. Setelah maghrib, isya itu sudah tidak ada orang yang berkerumun di jalan atau di luar.
We'll fast forward a little bit of this real quick. This is just dressing up the actors playing it. Okay, so that's not many more at the back of the scene here. So one of the things that we know is there are things that we would like to change, right? So when we talk about change, it's all about changing the behavior or changing a mindset, changing other people's thinking. So change is hard. So for us to do change, there are a lot of things that we have to go through, right? So I want to talk about, next thing is my quest, right? My journey itself. So what I wanted to say is this, is one, I am not an expert at change management. It is one of the things that because of what I do as a coach, part of the thing is trying to influence change. One thing I've discovered is that you actually cannot change a person. That's my discovery, right? The topic of this talk is about how do we handle change at our organization level, right? So I go down the change level, I go down this journey trying to figure out how do I change? How do I get people to change? What I've discovered is actually you can't really change people, but there are things you can do to kind of allow us to guide them along in that path. And change only happens if they themselves are willing to be on that journey. So one of the books I really like is The Switch by the Heath brothers. So it talks about how to change things when change is hard, talks about the elephant and the rider. So if you guys get a chance, do look at that book. That book has some stuff that is related to what I talked about, what I'm going to share with you today. So going back to COVID-19 again, we all know this, right? Some of the stuff. So this is a in BBC. This is a flyer that they put out basically to share the knowledge on how to stop the spread of the virus. Good information, real simple. Well, how is that going? Does that change people? Does that give you the reason to change? Does that make you want to change? It's clear, right? Why we need to change. So we know change is hard. So what Jeff Hart, the person that I consider the founder or person who figured out this secret recipe that he had worked on, so based on research, over 20 plus years of research with over 4,500 participants. And what he has uncovered is that change, in order to make change happen, it has to start with the individual. So his thing is about ADKAR. So he has a model called ADKAR, ADKAR. You can go to prosci.com. So it's prosci.com. It's a very simple model to follow. It's ADKR, A for awareness, D for desire, K for knowledge, A for ability, R for reinforcement. Now, I want to stress again that I'm no expert in ADKAR. This is something that I actually discovered this year, and it makes sense to me, and it's simple enough for me to follow along. So I wanted to pass this on to as much people as I can to again say, hey, one thing I love to do is to share knowledge. And from sharing, I get to learn. So this is my way of sharing with all of you that are in this webinar right now. So let's talk about that real quick. So what I'd like to do is I want you guys to be part of this conversation. So let me get the ability here to share. And if all of you could go to chat. Where is my chat? Why I'm just not having a good luck with. Okay, this is not working for me today. Why is that? There you go.
Did you find it?
Yep, I found it. So I post it on here. If everybody can, go to the link. Once you get to the link, I want you to come to me. And to find me, real simple, go down the bottom of it, find your icons that you have, and find my icon that says RK, click on follow, and you should come be able to see me. Once you get here, I'd like for all of you to chime in. Real simple, how do you create awareness and what are the roadblocks to awareness? Real simple, you can just double click on the screen and that will give you a sticky note and let's type it in there. So take like maybe 3 minutes to do it. So what are ways we create awareness? Or what are some of the roadblocks to awareness? If you are having difficulty navigating or creating sticky notes, first thing is I forgot to mention that this tool is designed for Chrome. So if you're on IE, you're probably having a hard time with it. Holding information, roadblock, I like that. Rethinking. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at some of the stuff we have over here. So I'm going to be moving some of the stickies around. So the how is being transparent, sharing information, talk to people. Common goal, empathize, market internally as you would externally. Okay, I like that. Use different medium styles and methods to how. Roadblock to it. Imposter syndrome, okay. Process over results, lack of time, lack of knowledge, lack of leadership, hoarding information, okay. Ownership inhibits change. So awareness is merely just, do we know of it? Do we know that a problem exists? Do we know that we need to change? And part of that is why? Why? It's the why behind the whole thing, right? Why do we need to change? What's the reason of it, right? So this is good, okay? So the awareness is pretty simple, right? The awareness. It's along the line of, do I know if I have something that I need to go do? For example, do I know if I need to go buy something? Do I have a problem to solve? So that awareness is just getting us to that awareness. So we think about looking at outside, right? Think about people that are suffering from alcoholics, for example, right? Do they know they have an alcoholic problem? Do they know that? The key is knowing it, right? Once you know it, then what do you do with it? Okay. So let's move on. I'm going to move on. Now, the D in ADKAR is the desire. Is there a willingness to support and engage in a change, right? Do we have a burning platform? We're not aware of it, but do we really want to? Do I have the want to do something about it? Is it an opportunity or is it a threat? The desire is, do we want to do something about it? Now, how do you create that desire in somebody? And oftentimes, what do we look for? As coaches, scrum masters, burning platforms, right? What's a pain point? Is there a pain? So that pain creates a desire for somebody to do something, right? So ADKAR, so A is awareness, D is desire. So the next one is K, is knowledge. Now, I want all of you again to contribute to this. How do you build knowledge? So again, I'll set it in terms of 3 minutes here. So think about knowledge in terms of cooking, right? I put a picture of a recipe there. Do you have the knowledge to do something? I'm aware of my problem. I have a desire to go do it. Can I go do it? Have a mentor, working groups, I see. Leverage supervisor, manager. Continue study and good reading, okay. Review data, mentor others, talk among peers. That's a good thing. Create conditions that encourage knowledge sharing. I'll have a policy requiring knowledge sharing. Ask questions. Empathy interviews start from where they are. Okay, that's good. Love the creating conditions that encourage knowledge sharing. Answer questions. Okay. All right, time's up. So lots of things. So knowledge building is at the core of it is getting the information so you know it. Real simple for me, right? It's either reading a book, right, or going to a website to read. How do I learn about Agile? Agile Manifesto, reading it, right? We go for training. I could also go to YouTube to learn how to cook, right? That's knowledge, right? I mean, watching YouTube is a way of gaining knowledge, right? I could go print out a recipe. That's knowledge. That's just gaining knowledge, right? So there are things that I would say probably, so knowing that, what are the things that stops us? What are the impact to knowledge building? What is the one that basically hinder us from getting knowledge? So again, I put 3 minutes to think about that. Time, a fixed mindset. Yeah, definitely. Making knowledge as the core of a culture. Peer pressure. Yeah. Lack of access to resources. Too much information. Yeah, definitely. Legacy thinking. Time with regular job. I see somebody putting that. Time management. Lack of desire to learn or research. Lack of support. Change fatigue. Too much changes. That's a pain. Does not consider learning an issue. Laziness. Okay. Complacency. Competitive priorities and projects. Definitely for sure. Okay. All right. Okay. So what I wanted to real quickly, there's things that jump up here to me is the laziness, the lack of desire to learn or research. Now, one thing to mention about ADKAR is this, ADKAR. Why do they have it as ADKAR? Why can't they switch things around, right? So we'll talk about it in a minute because there is a something that just came up here as I'm sharing with you. That is something that I've learned too, and we'll talk about it real quick. So the impact to it is basically this. There are three things to talk about: the level of current knowledge that you have, the capability to learn. Are you capable to learn? And your resource availability. Do you have those resources? Right, where you are currently, do we have the capability to learn? And do we have the resources available to us so that we can learn? So it usually comes down to these three different things. Okay. So I'm gonna jump to ability next. The second A. There's a difference between knowing and executing. Okay. So I can go to YouTube, I can watch a video on how to cook. It doesn't mean that I'm going to be successful if I actually go and cook, right? There's something that may be blocking me from executing, for example. It could be that I may not have the proper ingredients. I may not have the right materials or the right cooking pans, the right pots, right? I may not have that. So knowing it, reading a book is very different from actually executing it. So ability is ability for us to actually execute. Okay, so that's an A in the second A in ADKAR, right? Now the last one is R. So we're going to talk about reinforcement. Now that we've gone through the steps of getting to the point, okay, cool. If I can't, I know that I can now, I've learned how to cook. I can now go cook it. But what's a reinforcement of me cooking? Did my kids like my cooking? Did my wife like my cooking? Do I like what I cook? If the results, if there is no reinforcement to my actions, the stuff that I do, then whatever things that we've encouraged is actually lost. Now, one thing I really like about ADKAR is this. ADKAR has to be done in steps. So if you go and discover that you're missing on one of the components, you can't just go towards it. If you're looking at, oh, my change in my reinforcement is bad, so I need to go work on reinforcement. Say, for example, you look at all components, all the 5 components: awareness, desire, knowledge, ability, and reinforcement. Okay. If you look at all 5, and then all of those, you figure out, you know what, the lowest may be your reinforcement. There's some degree that we need to hit on awareness. It's not there yet. But if you think about it, the purpose why it's called ADKAR is there is a sequence to this. The whole thing about ADKAR is you have to be going by step. Now, this is on an individual basis. Remember that? It's an individual basis. Okay. So individually, we have to assess that. And then based on that, we have to figure out how to navigate that. What I do like about this is what you guys just shown me. You have to answer. You all have to answer on how to do this. That's why when I heard about it, it's very simple, very easy to follow. So here's an example. Back in the day when we're still able to travel, back in the day when I was traveling to a lot of different places, I would stay in hotels. And I'll get this all the time, right? It's like, hey, if you put your towel on the floor, it means that we're gonna wash it. If you hang it, then you'll reuse it. But we do encourage you to reuse it. Real simple, right? This is a clear example of ADKAR because it provides you the reason as to why. It's awareness, right? Every day, millions of gallons of water is used to wash towels that had only been used once, right? Hey, there's an awareness here. And how do we do it? The knowledge how to do it, right? Now imagine this, the reinforcement part of it. I go to the hotel, I see this, I'm like, cool, I'm all about being green, right? I hang my towel, I go out, come back at night. Hey, they took my towels and wash it, they put new ones. How would you think? Is that a good reinforcement? Probably not. If that's the case, then why do I need to follow it? Right? So think about the reinforcement part of this. So how does that impact what we do? Here's an example. They'll teach me not to lock my stuff. There we go. So this is an example from Visual Paradigm. So you can look them up. So on Scrum adoption, how does it work in terms of what we do? If you look at it, this is getting it. So each of those steps, what are the things that we need to consider? Let me blow it up a little bit here. Just stop there a little bit right here. So this is all about Scrum adoption. If you look at it, all right? Here are the steps from awareness, desire, knowledgeability, reinforcement. So I'm gonna switch over to me, my experience with ADKAR. So my journey, when I look at it, when I learned about ADKAR, how does it make sense to me? So for me, me and my family, one, we don't cook. We do a lot of takeouts. Every meal is a takeout. Now, when COVID-19 hit, we have a problem, right? We need to figure out how to get food. Well, I can get ingredients, can I cook? So one, there's awareness that things has changed. I have to change. I have a desire to do it because I have a desire to make sure that I don't go hungry, right? ADK, knowledge. Do I have the knowledge on how to cook? So I have to find the knowledge, right? That's looking up YouTube, looking up recipes, asking people, right? And the ability, I actually have to go cook it, to try it out and do it, right? And then reinforcement is basically my kids, my wife saying, yeah, we can consume this and it's okay, it's safe. We didn't go to the hospital after eating it. So this is all good. So then it changes me, right? It changes the fact that now it's now October. The last time we did takeout was in the beginning of March. That's how long it's been. And we have not gotten any food from anywhere else other than cooking. So everything is cooked. Now, I would say it's edible, it's good enough. I'm not a chef, okay? But enough changes the way we act as a family. It changes me, right? I spend more time now cooking than before. So ADKAR, in a sense, is really easy to relate to. So that's my plug, basically my whole thing about ADKAR. So I want to pause right here. We're at 12:40. Question and answer. Questions from you guys. Do we have any questions?
I don't see any questions on the chat. However, everybody is welcome to unmute themselves and they can ask directly questions, or you can add your question on the chat and I will be happy to pass along to Richard.
So maybe let's change this up. Maybe not question. What is your experience? I know some of you may have already experienced ADKAR. Share that here. I'd love to learn. No, it's lunchtime, I know.
Oh my goodness, it seems that we have one questions. Okay, have several questions. Feel free, can you unmute yourself or I can set the question. Yeah. What are some of the major obstacles you have found using ADKAR? That is from Patel to everyone. And let's start with that one, and we have another question on the chat.
Okay. For me, I haven't seen any obstacle other than a different model to follow. There tend to be a lot of people that says, here's a different model to follow, here's a different model to follow. But when I look at those different models, at the end of the day, it always, for me, comes back to one of these things. One of the components missing. It's either awareness, desire, or things like that. So I'm probably not the best answer that you're looking for. Again, I would say I'm very new to ADKAR. So far, in terms of my group that I work with, ADKAR is very well received. We had a lot of conversations, and the steps to it is, a lot of it is, we have the answer. We just have to be conscious that it is it is the individual that we need to look for. So we can create all these massive things trying to shift people towards it. At the end of the day, you have to figure out it's the people, it's the individual. So hopefully that answers the questions. If anybody else has a better answer, please chime up.
Yeah. Other question is, if ability is the first step and we are blocked here, how do you go about implementing the change?
So if there are no awareness, right? So first step, if they're not aware of it, okay? So again, so I'm going to bring something up. Okay, so we all have what we call biases that makes us, based on our experience, makes us think and do certain things in a certain way, right? So if you're not aware of it, if you're not aware of your own biases, that's a problem by itself. So awareness is one of the key things, is that we have to provide that either by information somehow, right? Now, if you find that awareness is, I think it's very straightforward in my mind, is either providing the information. Usually what stops people from moving forward is the desire. An example would be, hey, we're talking this individual, we're talking about agile, and this person is in their retirement stage. There's no reason for them, there's no desire for them to go change. You can't change them, I can tell you that. Nothing you do will change them, because there's no reason for them to shift. I learned that the hard way. You can create enemies, you can create whatever it is, they're not going to change. What you want then is to find out what other things that we can shift their thinking. What ways can we? Are there any desire for them to help the younger folks? Right? And you shift that changing, shifting. So going back to the book, um, the first thing to talk about, my favorite book, and I forget about it. Not this one. Switch. So going to that, the book itself talk about that personal thing. If you cannot get people to switch, to change, this book has a lot of information in it. And I love this book because it actually hits onto the desire really well. And it talks about building the steps to it. And that's where the knowledge and the ability, this book align really well with ADKAR in my mind.
And there is like another great suggestions from Derek. He talks about like another book, 7 Rules for a Positive and Productive Change.
Yes.
And that also have helped him to change the way of thinking. So that is another recommendation.
Thank you, Derek. And feel free to chime up. I mean, it's, just unmute yourself. I know some of you that's on this call. I know some of you, and I know you have the knowledge. So again, I'm not going to claim that I am an expert in this. Shuhari, I'm in the shu stage, which is a very dangerous state to be in.
Yeah. And honestly, I think also for me it's like in a process. I don't think things are going to change super easy faster. I think that William has maybe a question. He has unmute, so I'm going to step back to give the word to Patrick and William. We cannot hear you, Patrick. Let me see.
So what do we do is I'm going to stop share right here. Maybe that will make it easier for everybody. How do you create, okay, so question here, how do you create the desire for team to understand change is needed? And then demonstrate what is in it for the individual. So I think the answer lies in the question that you asked, right? So one, again, we're going back to the basic fundamentals is change is about the individual. And you have to understand the individual, which means you have to understand the people. So the further you are from the people, you probably don't know what's going on. So that's my spin on it. That's my take on it. As a coach, as a Scrum Master, I want to know the individual. So I want to make sure I create a connection with them, understand them as a person, and then from there, understand what we can do to help guide them in there. It's real simple stuff, right? Individuals, are they, yes, we're dealing with a team of over 200 people. That's correct. Organization, 1,200 people, right? So you got to understand what makes people come to work every day. Why are they there? What is the reason they come there? It might be just for the money. It might be not coming to work. I'm just coming to work because I need a job, right? So we have to get on individual. You cannot change organization without changing the individuals. And every individual has to bring their own self. In other words, I can go, so real easy. I can make somebody do something if I put a gun to their head, right? But at the end of the day, it's not something that we want to do. Fear is another one that I learned that it's not. I worked in an organization before where fear was a motivator. So short term works really well, but long term, nothing happened. So when you do change that way, you see the short term stuff. It's like, yep, I'm going to do according to what you tell me to do. I'm checking the boxes, but the outcome isn't what we wanted to do, right?
Patrick, William, you have something else to add? I know that some of you are on mute right now. Feel free to jump in. No, sorry, we're still having problems. I don't know if
Pawan?
sorry, Patrick, I don't know.
You guys hear me at all?
Derek, yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll jump on to my comment that I added in about Esther's book. So that was, reading that really hit. I'm not that experienced with ADKAR. It's really the first time I really heard about it, but definitely with Esther's book really made me think about times in my past when I brought in change, either to small teams or larger groups. And really her whole book is about change by attraction, right? Getting people, not just coming in, like Richard said, with a gun to people's heads, but trying to get everybody involved in a change and attracting the people to the change instead of just pounding it down to them. So I highly recommend reading that book and really thinking about ways that you've been involved in change in the past and change you want to go moving forward.
Yeah, so I love that, right? If you think about that, right, creating that that positive note, that is the desire, right? You're creating a desire in somebody to come in, right? And that's why what was interesting for me now, and is that looking at all the different models is for me, ADKAR is on my head all the time now. Anytime I think about something, oh, wait a minute, it's A, it's D, it's right here that we're working on, which is very interesting. Thank you for sharing, Derek.
Thank you for presenting this, Richard. It's great.
Anyone else? I know we got a lot of knowledgeable people on this call right now. Well, go ahead. Somebody else?
No, I don't see anybody else.
Okay.
I don't know you want to add something else so we can wrap up.
All right. So last thing, again, with everything else, you know, I'm going to do a shameless plug. So I am a YouTuber. I have a YouTube channel called Master Asian Core. I talk about Agile, everything about Agile. There are some stuff that's product review, things like that. That's just for the fun of it. Do connect with me on LinkedIn as well. Name is Richard Khor. I love to share. I love to learn. I know there's a lot of things for me to learn. So that's all I have on ADKAR, and thank you for coming, and thank you for sharing.
And it's highly recommended. Go to the YouTube channel. And also thank you for being here, spending some time of your Friday with us. Don't miss our next webinar in November 12th. We are going to talk about Agile at Home. And I will be sending you the recording and the slides on your email. So see you soon. Have a great weekend and enjoy this October.
Thank you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Do you stop the recording already?
No, let me stop the record right now.